Hi, welcome to Understanding Conscious Cryptids with me, Kat Hansen, your host. Hi everyone, it's me, Kat. Big surprise, huh? I'm feeling honored today, I guess. I want to start out by saying I'm sorry for my voice. It's a little on the creaky, cracky, crumpled, bruised side. I was playing with my dog, Genghis Khan, the great big 150-pound pit bull, lard butt. And we were wrestling around, and, well, he kind of slammed his head into my throat, Didn't matter that I was trying to take him down into a chokehold and roll him over and get his belly. But that's neither here nor there. He gave me what he wanted to give me, which is a funny voice for you all to hear for a little bit. Okay? Everybody already says I sound like I'm 2 years old. Well, now I'm 2 years old with a frog voice. So everyone's just going to have to deal with it. You know what they say, suck it up. I'm getting tough with everybody today. So, today's lesson is going to be about gargoyles. I know, please, 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 don't send me 1,000 emails about me being a witch, okay? I don't want to hear that, okay? Gargoyles are not involved with witches, okay? There was some history there, but just like there's all history between all the conscious cryptids and human beings, you really need to learn it all before you start judging people, okay? So I'm just letting that out there so that I don't get a million emails about my lessons saying that I'm a witch and I'm doing terrible things, because I really don't want to hear that. Okay? Gargoyles are interdimensional beings, okay? And I actually have pictures of one that is going to be in this video. His name is Lyle. At least that's what I've always called him. His name is Lyle the Gargoyle. And you will get to see his pointed little ears and his ornery little face. He is kind of a snot pot, but that's neither here nor there. Gargoyles are really wishy-washy when it comes to their emotions, okay? I mean, they can be happy one moment and nice and not going crazy on you, and then the next minute they can be kind of intimidating and really want to scare you and put the dickens into you. But for the most part, these guys are benevolent, okay? People don't understand them, and that leads me into another topic of discussion here, and that's going to be dragons, okay? I also have pictures of dragons. Yeah, I know, huh? Everybody just said, okay, time for Kat to go to see the doctor there. No, it's just me walking with one foot in both worlds. Dragons and gargoyles have been on the earth for longer than humans. I've told everyone before that this is a learning planet, and that we all have to realize that things come through the portals here. Sometimes they leave and go home, and sometimes they decide to stay. And that's just the way it is on this planet. This planet was made as a teaching planet. She has made herself so that most species can live here, even if it's just for a short time, but they can experience this earth and this time frame, and that's exactly what it is with the gargoyles. They come through, and they really like it here. There's a lot of food for them. No, they don't eat humans. They do eat wild game. There are other types of reptilian species that are here indigenous to this planet. So it's almost like they're coming to visit family. So they're comfortable and they're happy, and some of them stay and some of them leave. The ones that stay can stay anywhere from a year to 1,000 years, and that's why we have them in our histories in the past. The Native Americans have always had stories of them. My people have always believed them to be children of the dragons. So we have our own way of dealing with them. When we run into them, we're always very polite. They don't speak any type of language here on Earth that I'm aware of. I know between their species, they have some type of a shrieking call, because Lyle has done it at me many times when he leaves and comes back to get my attention. These guys are pretty fearsome when you think about it. I mean, seriously, when you look at Lyle, I want you guys to realize that he stands about 5 feet tall, give or take. I've never really measured him. I just know he's a little bit, well, I guess he is about my height, maybe a little bit shorter than me. And, yeah, there, I'm short, okay? You heard me say it. Anyway, and please don't send me the Randy Newman song about short people. I hate that song, okay? I hate it. It was played for me all the time in high school. I hate it, okay? Anyway, Lyle, for his size, he eats deer. He loves deer. Antelope. Anything that's right around that size, he really likes. I've never seen him eat fish or other birds, per se, but he does eat deer. He eats the heck out of deer and antelope. And it's really kind of strange because they have such a fearsome visage. People have mistaken them for forever. And I think that's one of the reasons that they used, to put them on churches. I do know they put them there to scare spirits away, evil spirits, demons. But I've never seen Lyle scare a demon, because he's never encountered one, as long as he's been around me. Because I don't have demons around me. So I don't know if he's ever actually encountered one. But I do know that demons are pretty horrific, and I've dealt extensively with them and the forms that they choose. So let me tell you about one that actually did choose to present itself in the form of a gargoyle. But this gargoyle was huge. I mean, it was like 9 feet tall. And so I automatically knew right then and there that I wasn't dealing with a gargoyle, because I've never seen them get to be that tall. I mean, the biggest one I've ever seen is like maybe 6 feet tall. And that's pushing it. These guys don't really want to have anything to do with us unless we can actually see them, perceive them, and understand them. For the most part, they tend to stay on the outskirts of civilization. Every now and then you'll hear about one coming into town. People spotted some weird winged monstrosity sitting in a tree, and then they describe it, and people just look at each other going, man, that sounds like a gargoyle. But gargoyles aren't real. I have news for you. They're very real. They're just another one of those conscious cryptids. They are very aware of our species. They're very aware of our tendencies to shoot first, ask questions later. They're very aware of the anger and hostility that we present against each other, and that kind of bugs them. They really don't like to be around that. Case in point, Lyle. When I was having some massive issues with my ex-husband, Lyle made sure, he made a point that he was never around that. He didn't want to be around that. And that was when I discovered how in tune with human emotions they are. They don't want to be around that type of thing, because it's draining on them, and it makes their time here in our dimension harder. Now I'm going to slide right on into dragons too, because I, like a lot of other people, associate gargoyles and dragons together. I do, because that's my tribe's belief. My people believe that they do these trips together into our dimension, and for instance, we have a huge water monster and we call her Untina. Untina is a water dragon type, and many people have seen her. You know, the flathead lake monster in Montana. There's another one. You know, these are dragons, and they really do exist. You know, people say many times, "Oh, that's impossible for them to exist." You know, they can't. They come up with all these reasons why they can't exist in our dimension. You know, in our reality. And my answer to that is real simple. Our reality is not their reality. You know, it's the same thing that happened with Kyasa, my male stayama. When I had to explain to him that people did not believe in him, you know, didn't believe in his species, had nothing but bad things to say, and his answer to me was so pure. You know, he pounded with one hand on over his heart, and he said, "I exist. I'm here." And then he reached over and he punched Nolly in the arm, and he said, "He exists. He is here." And I thought, you know, that's brilliant. Because what answer can you give to someone that tells you that you don't exist? You know? I mean, seriously. You can't tell something or someone that they don't exist when they do. You know? I mean, sure, you can delegate them to the realms of Never Never Land and tell yourself, "Oh, I didn't see that," or "I don't believe in that." But just because you don't believe in it doesn't mean that they don't exist. It doesn't stop them from existing. So, dragons, you know, they're funny creatures. They really are. They have an attitude, and I'm not going to say they don't, because they've been around for so long that they think that they are the keepers of secrets. They think they're the keepers of, you know, beliefs and knowledge, and they have a lot of disdain for humanity. You know, and that doesn't make them bad, it just makes them feel superior. They feel very superior compared to us. Which, who am I to say maybe they're not superior? I mean, they just do what they do, you know, and they exist. They're not the types anymore to go out that, you know, the medieval knight slaying the dragon type scenario. They just slip quietly in and out of our dimension. And every now and then you'll hear a news story about someone swearing that they see a dragon flying in the air or whatever. I do have a picture of a dragon. Actually, I have a couple of them I'm going to put up for you guys. Yeah, it's just, my daughter gave me a brilliant idea. She told me that I just need to make a show where I just throw up all my pictures, you know, because I walk with my phone, and I have my phone with me everywhere. And I always ask if I can, you know, if I'm dealing with a being, I ask them if I can take their picture. I always ask. Now, if I'm just walking through the woods or a park or somewhere, I always have my camera out, you know, on my phone, and I just take pictures, you know, and then I look at my pictures afterwards, and I say, "Oh, there's a gnome. Oh, look, there's a little gargoyle. Oh, look, there's 10 Stayama over there, you know, hiding." You know, I mean, seriously, that's what it's like with me, you know. And she said, "Mom, we grew up with it, you know, we're kind of used to you and what you do." You know, she said, "It's not amazing to us. We kind of expect everybody to be able to do that, and when they can't, we realize, you know, that you're special, Mom." And so she's told me that I just need to take my camera and just start throwing up all my pictures and letting you guys see what I see in this world, because what I see amazes me that you guys don't see, you know. Case in point, dragons. Case in point, gargoyles, a lot of things. I see so many things. And sometimes, to me, it's amazing that people can't see them. And I have to tell myself, stop. It's because they're hidden. Their eyes are hidden. They're hiding themselves from them. But they can't hide from the cameras, and they can't hide from me. And I think that's why I've always had them come to me, because I see them, and I see them in their purest forms. I see their intent, and I see how they are, and if they're evil, if they're, well, not evil, but bad, I don't want them around me, so I just leave, I tell them to get away from me, and I don't want to deal with them anymore. But there again, you have to ask yourself, if they're doing that, are they good or are they bad? Well, I consider everybody to be good until you prove to me that you're bad. And I believe that Heavenly Father made them. I do believe that, because I don't believe that the cryptids are created by the Satan or the devil or other evil entities. They're not. It says in the books of the Bible that He created many planets and He peopled them with many people. Well, it says in the Bible, our own Bible right here with us, that there are people in the earth and in the seas. Think about that. He's telling you right there up front, there's people that were here that He put in the earth, on the earth, and in the seas. So those are cryptids. That's what we're going to classify as a cryptid, because we're not familiar with them. Oh, things that live underground? You're kidding me. No, the only thing that can live underground is a mole or a worm. No, you're wrong. If you go deeper, you find other people. Now, the people aren't always the same as you and I, but they're still people. They're still beings. They're conscious. And that's what this show is about, is consciousness. These beings are aware of evil. They're aware of good. They're aware of their own histories and their own species, and for the most part, I know people don't want to hear me say this, but I've said it many times on my, on my shows about Kyasa. I learned early on, age 9, age 9, I had my little Bible that I carried everywhere with me, because I used to have to spend summers at the grotto with the sisters, the nuns. So every summer I stayed there, and I learned real quick that if I were to tell these beings that they were evil or bad, the sisters would never have forgiven me, because they told me that I had to have empathy for everyone, And so they made sure that I always had a Bible on me. I'm not kidding you guys. I've told you, I wore overalls and pants as a child because my dad didn't know how to deal with a girl. And I always had a Bible in my pocket, because, believe it or not, there was a time where I thought I was going to be a nun. I really did. I thought I was going to grow up and be a nun. And that was my whole goal for a long time, because I most definitely didn't want to be the Elite. That's a terrible thing to be able to have the gifts that I have is horrifying sometimes, because I can't see the evil in people. I can't experience the harm and the hate that comes from them, And that's the wonderful joy about being able to touch someone and see everything. So, anyway, I had this Bible, and Kyasa had ripped the head off of Old Man Heater's bull. And he was our neighbor. And that bull wouldn't stop bellowing. I heard it and heard it and heard it, and I didn't know what was going on. And then one of my uncles told me that it was like rut, he was calling out to the female because there was a female somewhere down the road, on one of the other farms that was in her cycle, and, it was time. So this bull wouldn't shut up and wouldn't shut up and wouldn't shut up. And as a kid, I didn't really understand that. And I just heard it and just kind of was annoyed by it, I was like, man, I wish it would shut up. Well, Kyasa and them were horrible and did some bad stuff, They were doing some bad stuff. At least it was to me. And ripping the head off of bulls is not a good thing. So that was a time where I pulled out my Bible, when I saw them. And I was so angry with them for doing this, And I didn't care if they'd done it for food. There was so much there for them to eat. It wasn't funny. They didn't need to eat the cows. We had deer, goats, pheasants, all kinds of things that lived in the woods there, just tons of it. So they never had to go after cows. But they did. And I remember taking my book, my Bible, out of my pocket because I didn't know what else to do. I was 9 years old. And I held it up and I started reading Psalms to them. And immediately, the thought that came into my brain, it forced itself so afearedly, that's my grandmother's word, afeared. Are you afeared of something? Yes, they were terrified because all of a sudden these huge male stema all stopped what they were doing and looked at me. And instantly the thought that came into my brain was Father. They knew who Heavenly Father was. I kid you not. Because as I'm sitting there reading Psalms with them, I'm actually yelling it at them. They were looking up at the sky. And this was the thought that they were sending me, was Father. So I learned early on that these cryptids, even though we consider them animals, they have very high intelligence, and that don't want anyone to mistake that. I need you all to really think about that when you bump into these beings, because they are very smart, very wise, and very conscious of right from wrong. They do know. So if you're out and about in the forest, usually by a lake or by caves, you're probably going to bump into a gargoyle or a dragon. I'm not going to say you're not, because believe it or not, I get notes from people who say, hey, Kat, you know what? I did see him, and I'm like, okay, tell me what you did, Oh, I stayed away from it, I was smart, and I just talked to it. And I'm like, cool. That's the proper response. Think of them like movie stars. Seriously, if you see a movie star, are you one of those people that runs right up to him and says, oh, can I have your autograph? Or are you one of those other people that thinks to themselves, man, they get slammed every single day by people in the news and the press. I don't want to bug them, but that's way cool that I can stand back here with my phone and video them, and they don't even see me, Those are the kind of people that I like to be around. And those are the kind of people, I think, that have interactions with cryptids, with conscious cryptids. I really do, because they realize that they're seeing something that's not in their normal, everyday realm. It's not in their reality. This thing is definitely out of place in their reality. So, I'm going to tell you some secrets here on how to get along with the dragons and gargoyles if you see them. Okay? First of all, anything shiny, sparkly, they love. Okay? That's a good gift. Even if it's a cheap 99-cent store bag of bauble beads. Just, they would love it. If you think that you know where a dragon is while he's visiting this dimension, if you go up and set the things that you find close, I'm not saying in the cave where he's at, maybe at the opening to the cave, or maybe, a little further away, that's fine. Gargoyles, as I said, love to eat. And the picture I have of Lyle is of him eating, as a matter of fact. You could feed them, chickens, they'll eat. I am the quintessential take care of everything person. So when I have knowledge that a dragon's in my area, I will go to the store and buy a chicken, a whole chicken, and take it up and give it to him, along with some beads or whatever, little fake gems or whatever I want to give him. One year it was tinsel. Oh my heck, tinsel. The stuff that you put on Christmas trees. Oh my heck, it ended up being all over my canyon. Drove me nuts because I was having to pick it off of trees everywhere. But he loved it because he had draped it all over the place where he was staying. Simple pleasures, simple things. Lyle's the same way. Gargoyles are very easygoing. For all their ferocious, they look really ferocious. Their ferocity is horrible. But you need to realize that looks are very deceiving, and the good book tells us, don't judge. Who are we to judge? We don't know what the other people that he made look like. So that's always been my motto. When you're dealing with these guys, you need to be aware that just because the visage of them is evil looking doesn't make them evil. Okay? Just like the stegomas. Some look real friendly, they can look very sweet until they rip your head off. Face eaters are real nice. They look very calm, and that's how they approach you. A lot of people don't even realize that. They use their mind to beguile you until they're close enough to kill you. So I need people to be aware that dragons and gargoyles are very real. You're not dealing with big dumb lizards. You're dealing with something that's highly intelligent, has the ability to come and go from our dimension. Okay, so you got to think about that too. If he was dumb, he wouldn't be able to do that. And if you are blessed to be able to sit down and actually open your mind enough, they will talk to you. If you can show them that you're not afraid of them, they will speak with you. It's not going to be a one-on-one, let me talk to you type of thing, never-ending story dragon. What you're going to get is very strong thoughts and echoes of voices in your head when you're dealing with a dragon. When you're dealing with gargoyles, it's a little more subtle. They tend to manipulate feeling. So you feel good, bad, hot, cold, normal, not normal, things like that, with them. And you experience pleasure too because they tell you thank you. You can feel it. Well, I guess that's about it. Like I said, I'm going to put the pictures up of Lyle and the dragons in this one. And I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you have any questions about gargoyles, I'm always here. Same thing with dragons. Give me a shout and I promise I'll answer. In the meantime, I hope everyone has a peaceful, blessed week and that y'all enjoy yourselves. And till next time, hasta la vista, baby.